Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck. And like we always do, we always invite our friends to come on the show. So whether if they come on or not, that's a different story. There's always next time. Anyways, we got some stuff to talk about. Going on in the Blue Jackets world. Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson are going to be playing for Team Canada in the World Hockey Championship. We're going to talk about that. And Blue Jackets coach Dean Evason has also been picked to be the coach for Team Canada in the World Hockey Championship. We're going to talk about that. Dean Evason has been snubbed. He should have been a finalist for the Jack Adams Award for Best Coach in the NHL, but he didn't get picked to be a finalist, and that's really stupid, and we strongly disagree with that, and we're going to talk about that because he should have been a finalist for the Jack Adams Award. And we're also going to be doing some player report cards for here until whenever, a couple shows over the next couple weeks here. We're going to go through the entire Blue Jackets roster and give us some report cards and how we think they did. Also some jersey concepts and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Oh yeah, welcome in everybody. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening. I know weather here I'm kind of like north central Ohio. Was very nice today. Hope everyone else is having a good weekend or week, depending on when you're listening to this. If you too would like to listen to us instead of watching, you can find us on Spotify, Google Playlist, Apple Playlist, Podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever you can find podcasts, we are at. Don't forget, you can also follow us on Facebook. I remember to actually post the link for today's show on Facebook today, so you can also catch us live on YouTube or X, Twitter, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, unless otherwise we change the time. Sometimes we do. So check out our YouTube channel. You can find the links anywhere that you are watching this, whatever profile we happen to be using. Like if you're watching from YouTube, you can find our Twitter. If you're watching from Twitter, you can find our YouTube. Anyway, enough with the intros. First thing I want to mention today, I want to wish a very happy birthday to the one and only James Van Riemsdyk. He is currently a UFA after last season, but he played this last season with the Blue Jackets. He's 36 years old. Played left wing, shoots left, and he did very well. He did exactly what the Blue Jackets needed him to do, and hopefully we'll see him again next year. We'll see. But anyway, happy birthday regardless.
That's right.
I guess I could have just left it at happy birthday instead of all the rest of the shit. Anyway, it is what it is. We have a pretty hopping show today for you. Got a lot to talk about and a short amount of time to do it. So I think the very first thing,
I'm going to start off with this, which is the Blue Jackets are in the process of getting a new owner. And the Blue Jackets recently posted a video with an interview of Jody Shelley interviewing John McConnell II, who is
let me explain that real quick.
Who is the grandpa of the original owner, Mr. Mack. But go ahead.
Right. So John H. McConnell, the original owner of the Blue Jackets, it's John H. McConnell. John P. McConnell is his son, and he is the current owner, passing ownership on to his son, John H. McConnell II. So it's a little confusing there because there's 3 John McConnells, but the grandfather is John H. McConnell, the father is John P. McConnell, and then the grandson is John H. McConnell II. So I just wanted to clear that up for anyone out there who might not know because it confused me. I had to look this up before the show. So anyway.
Yeah. So basically, the Blue Jackets posted a video of Jody Shelley interviewing John H. McConnell II, and I'm not going to play the entire video because it's like 6 minutes, but there's bits and pieces of the video that I want to play to share. And there's some things I like about it. But paraphrasing it, basically the entire video is just interviewing the owner that the Blue Jackets will eventually be getting, which is John H. McConnell II. You know, the original Mr. Mac eventually, you know, helped start the Blue Jackets and then eventually gave it to his kid. And then the current owner, John P. McConnell, is eventually going to give it to his kid, John H. McConnell II. And the video kind of talks about what he's doing to help transition the process. He's helping them and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're going to play some of that video and then we'll talk about it for a bit and then we'll move on to other stuff. And if you want to see the full video, just go to like the Blue Jackets social media or like the Blue Jackets YouTube if you want to see the full video. Anyways, so this little part of the video that I picked stands out to me. If you have read the Columbus Chill Factor book, it's a good book and you should read it. It tells a hockey history of Columbus and how the Blue Jackets came to Columbus. And one of those things you learn in this book is that how the original Mr. Mac had a dream to have Columbus have a professional sports team because he's from Columbus and he knows Columbus is an awesome place to be, but he thought Columbus could be better. And he saw the opportunity as getting a professional team to come to Columbus to make Columbus better. But not only does it make it better, you're doing it for the citizens and the city, and it just brings in much more better spotlight. And now it makes Columbus more legitimate. It's like, oh, Columbus, cool. And now other businesses look at that and say, yeah, I want to go to Columbus and have my business there. And, you know, family, maybe you're recently, you know, you got a kid and you got a family. Where should I move? Oh, I want to go to Columbus because they got this and this and this. And effectively, that's what has happened because the Blue Jackets have come to Columbus and it's an economic boom that's now worth 20, you know, just billions and billions of dollars to Columbus and state economy. And along comes the arena district with the Blue Jackets, the Crew, the Clippers, and all the hotels, bars, restaurants, and stores. It has just exploded, made Columbus a better place. And in this part of the video, John H. McConnell II talks about what his grandpa did to help bring the Blue Jackets to Columbus and how that's helped make Columbus better. So here it is. Oh, come on now.
It's loading.
Play for me. Play for me. We're not doing. Oh boy! Don't tell me we're doing this. All right.
Is it supposed to be at like the 4-minute mark there on the bottom? There you
go. Okay.
Well, John, this is our first opportunity.
Okay. Well, now let's see if we can get it. Okay.
Here we go. There's a number of support foundations that we're involved with. And as you think about that with the Blue Jackets, there was an opportunity there. My grandfather, he was always looking for a way to build Columbus up into a major market, major city in Major League Sports is one of the best ways to do that. And that opportunity presented itself. And that is, in my grandfather's vision, one of the best things you could do to help your employees, the city, and help put Columbus in a higher standing and help build that district that is a major centerpiece of Columbus today.
He really had the vision of giving back to the city, didn't he?
Yes, that goes back to paying it forward. You can build and give back, and Columbus has been very good to our family and to him, and he's always wanted to give back for all the opportunities he's been given in the city of Columbus.
And the impact goes well beyond community investment, doesn't it?
It does. We've had the opportunity to host the NHL draft, NHL All-Star game, the World Cup of Hockey for Team USA, in the Stadium Series really put a spotlight on Columbus.
Those are all great events, but
So in that little part of the clip there, it really shows just what bringing a sports team can do for your city. It really helped put Columbus on the map, because before the Blue Jackets, I mean this not in a disrespectful way to the Crew and the Clippers, because they were there. There was other options to do sports in Columbus. But the truth is, you more likely than not, from an outsider perspective, in my opinion, you probably were not going to Columbus unless it was Ohio State football. That's it. You're probably not picking the Crew or the yeah. You're probably not picking the Crew or Clippers. When the Blue Jackets brought legitimacy to Columbus and helped put Columbus on the map. It brings something to give something to give to people to come to who probably are not from Columbus, to see a Blue Jackets game or to see their favorite team play the Blue Jackets in Columbus. And like we see in this video, because of the Blue Jackets are in Columbus, it transformed Columbus for the better, with the arena district and the hotel and the bars, the restaurants, the stores, and the Blue Jackets and the Crew and the Clippers. And because of the Blue Jackets, Columbus gets to host these big time events like the NHL draft, the NHL All-Star game, the World Cup of Hockey, obviously most recently the Blue Jackets outdoor game. All this stuff happens because of the Blue Jackets that comes to Columbus, and what Mr. Mack was able to do. How he had a much bigger vision to say, hey, I like Columbus, but we can do better. And that's what he did. It helped change Columbus for the better, because now Columbus has a lot of stuff that you can do, a lot of stuff to offer to the world. Okay, you want football? Guess what? Ohio State. You want soccer? Crew. You want baseball? Clippers. There's a volleyball team now. You want hockey? Blue Jackets. And all these, like I said, the arena district, all the restaurants,
You want
bars.
basketball? Well, go Cavs.
Yeah, well, yeah, up in Cleveland, but the arena district with all the bars and the stores, the restaurants and the hotels and all the sports teams. There's just so in North Market and so much more. There's just so much to do in Columbus because of giving back to Columbus and one man's dream. It's just so important that something like that happened. Columbus is not where they are today without the Blue Jackets. And I mean this not in a disrespectful way towards the Crew or the Clippers or even Ohio State. But the Blue Jackets really gave Columbus something big to offer. It really helped put the Blue Jackets on the map. I tell my family and friends back in Illinois all the time about Columbus. And why do you go to Columbus? And I said, all the Blue Jackets and this and that. And once I take them to Columbus, they love it. And they want to go back. Kevin, when are you going back to Columbus? I want to go back. I want to go back. Because in part, it's all this fun stuff that you can do now. It just wouldn't be the same if the Blue Jackets weren't here and we're still that stereotypical college town with Ohio State. Because again, it's no disrespect to Ohio State, but if you're just a college town, that's boring, because you can go to just about any other town in America and do that. But you can't go to a place now like Columbus that gives you the Blue Jackets and Ohio State and the Crew and the Clippers and so much more. So I just want to, play that clip, and Hefty Duck, we can get you in here and just share your thoughts.
Real quick, just because I mentioned it, Cavs are down 58-64 at halftime right now.
Come on, Cavs! Let's go, Cavs! Let's win this.
Do it. The Pacers don't deserve this. Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited to see what the younger generation of McConnell's has kind of the direction that he wants to take everything. And I would be curious is if he were um kind of instrumental, or maybe as they've been doing this transition for like a little while now, it's just becoming more and more apparent um that he's taking over. But if maybe he had some pushing to do with the new GM or new coaching type stuff too. I mean, granted, I think everyone could kind of feel the timing was up there with some things, and that it was time for a new change. But still, I'm excited. There's already a new feeling for the Blue Jackets with Don Waddell. I mean, he's got that first season under his belt now. He's still new to the Columbus being a GM. Dean Evason's got his first Blue Jacket season under his belt now too. They've already been taking this new direction, and I think that this is a great time to do that. Columbus had its biggest season in the past like few years, and the biggest game it's probably ever had. I mean, it's never had a hockey game with that many fans at it ever.
Nope. No.
So I think it's a good timing for it, and I hope that because you know what they say. I mean, everything starts from the top down,
Yeah.
and so getting fresh face in there, fresh eyes, or at least fresh perspective, and giving John H. the second more say in the direction of the team. I'm just excited to see. I'm hoping that he's looking forward to a possible Stanley Cup in the future. And it's the one thing this team, it's not the oldest team by any means, but they've never really gotten close. So
yeah,
we'll see.
So
hopefully this helps get them closer.
All right, so I'm going to play the next part of this video that I like, and it basically talks about that. This is just John H. McConnell II being open and honest and just straightforward, basically that he really wants to win the Stanley Cup. And this isn't to say that any other owners don't want to win a championship. I think that they do. Some of them are just maybe, more private about it and just not as open to the public. They go about it in a different way. But here we have the eventual new, the guy who's eventually going to be the new owner of the Blue Jackets, John H. McConnell II, talking about how he wants to win a Stanley Cup. So here it is.
The ultimate goal is the Stanley Cup. How do you assess the organization today?
As we look at the team and the process, we're in a really good position right now with team, with management, and the direction we're heading. There's 32 teams in the league. It's not easy to win. There's teams that have won the cup, but not in a generation. There's other teams that haven't won the cup at all. We want the Stanley Cup with the Blue Jackets in Columbus, Ohio. And we're going to fight every day to make sure that we're positioned well to compete to win the Stanley Cup going forward.
Well, there's been a lot of positive momentum and excitement around the organization right now. So thank you for your time.
It's been my pleasure.
Maybe I should have waited on my Stanley Cup comments.
No, but that's okay though.
That's just where my mind goes when we're talking about new things.
Yeah, but again, I like what John H. McConnell II said. There is basically assessing where the Blue Jackets are right now. Is that, hey, you had a good season. You did better than expected. You weren't expected to be that good that you were. Blue Jackets played, good season. They played good and have a bright future. It looks good. And now you just have to build on that and see how far you can go and try your best to win the Stanley Cup, which I think was good. So I know you've already said some stuff, Hefty Duck, but do you have any stuff to say about that particular clip?
No, in fact, like I hadn't even dove into this clip myself at all to have heard that. But like it literally him just saying things that were on my mind is good to hear. And I'm pretty sure that John P. McConnell he wasn't around much for a little while there. I believe he may or may not have had some health issues. I think that's just a rumor. as far as I'm aware. But he just wasn't around for a minute, and just seeing John H. II's face out there, interviews, with Jody Shelley, and just seeing him around, makes me think like, oh yeah, this guy, there's no reason to be ashamed. I mean, when a team doesn't do well, it's kind of easy for someone to just be like, oh shit, I'm just gonna hide until they do a little better, kind of type thing. And he's putting his face on the brand. He's standing up behind it, and I mean, as far he's saying what at least I want to hear. So hopefully that he backs it up. I have no reason to doubt that he will, but I just hope they do.
All right, one last part of the video I'm going to play. Again, not playing the whole video, but we're just going to, a little short of it, that just John H. McConnell II is just going to talk about what he's doing and how he's in the process of working with his dad to slowly transition to him to eventually becoming the new owner of the Blue Jackets.
Well, John, this is our first opportunity to sit down with you since your father retired from Worthington Industries. We look forward to hearing about your transitioning, your new responsibilities and duties. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jody. I'm happy to be here.
John, you've recently taken a more public-facing role with the Blue Jackets and JMac, our parent company. How did that come about?
Yeah, just as my grandfather did before with my father, started a transition period a few years ago. Part of that transition is I'm now the chairman of JMac Incorporated, which is our family's holding and investment business arm. Part of that is the Blue Jackets, which sits within JMac Incorporated. I've been working with my dad hand in hand the last few years as we worked through this transition as he began his retirement process.
To have your father by your side during this process, how does that impact you?
It's been great. We spent a lot of time together. We've been, spending time day to day and going to the next level of thinking about things.
He's just a phone call away, right?
Yes. And he's been fantastic through this process as he begins his retirement path.
So John, what are your roles with the Blue Jackets and JMac?
Yeah, today I'm the chairman of JMac Incorporated. That allows me to look at our full holdings and investments, working day to day with Mike Priest. This all took place when we split the Worthington Industries company into two publicly traded companies, Worthington Enterprises and Worthington Steel. I currently serve on the board of both of those companies as part of this process, allowing me to spend more time day to day within JMac. It also allowed me to spend more time within the hockey team. I'm the alternate governor for the NHL. My dad is the governor. We continue to work day to day in that process as we go through transitions. Part of this process has been attending the Board of Governors meetings, meeting other owners and leadership of the other hockey teams. It has been an honor and a privilege to be able to represent the Blue Jackets and our ownership group to the NHL.
John, you've had a lot of experience. How has it helped you for this next chapter?
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience in a number of the businesses that we operate. It's helped me be prepared to understand how we do what we do. I spent the bulk of my time at Worthington Industries through transformation, commercial, sales, operations roles, and most recently as the business director, then vice president of global business development. I have spent a lot of time actively working with my father within the Blue Jackets organization, and I've been in the organization working different roles in hockey operations, sales, and marketing. And one of my greatest honors I got to do was being the co-chair of the All-Star game. That was a great experience, and it's helped me build to be ready for the next chapter, and I'm really excited for that opportunity.
I know you have great passion.
So there we have John H. McConnell II, who eventually will be the new owner of the Blue Jackets, just talking about his experiences and what he's led him to this point and how his dad has helped him slowly transition into his role. So anything to say about this, Hefty Duck?
Nope, just going to reiterate really that, I'm excited for the change. Like I said, he's been saying all the right things. And whether or not, I mean, he talked a lot about business there, which is fine by me because, we know Mike Priest has been kind of like the spokesperson oftentimes for the ownership this last while. And they're both very business minded, oriented, which is fine because that's like what they do in the other part of their life. That's how they make their living. And I just at the same time, I like that he's active within the hockey community and meeting other ownerships with the other owners as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind that a team is treated like a business because at the end of the day, it ultimately is for that company.
Yeah.
But I feel like the product that has been on the ice in previous season has not been quite worthy of maybe some of, you know, uh, it's just not, it hasn't been good. So I don't know how to say it otherwise. It's good stuff. But once again, business oriented person knowing that, a better product is going to bring, you're going to be able to charge more for tickets, make more money. You got these new, like the Lexus Club lounges stuff going in there and all that fun stuff as well. So, because it's not just about the experience. I mean, the going is an amazing experience, but if you go and you experience them losing enough, then it's like, dude, I'm done. I'm so tired of going every time they're going to lose enough I go. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're very well home this year. So I'm
Yes.
hoping that this is one of those kind of top down things.
That's
With
right.
with that as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes and what happens when he does eventually take over as the full owner of the Blue Jackets, and what kind of moves does he do, and how will he run the Blue Jackets? And maybe there's differences between him and his dad and his grandpa. Maybe there's some similarities. It'll just be interesting to see how this goes and how he runs the Blue Jackets when he eventually does get it. But anyways, interesting video there. I just wanted to share that. Now, we're going to save the player report cards for last. So, Dean Evison has been named the coach for Team Canada, which is great to see. Good to see he's getting some recognition because the World Hockey Championships, it's the second best thing. If your team doesn't make the playoffs, that's where you want to be because it's still good competition. You're playing against some of the best players from all over the world representing their countries. So that's great to see Dean Evison get recognized for that. So that's cool. So shout out to you, Dean Evison. And any thoughts on that, Hefty Doc?
I'm excited to see what he does. He just got thrown into a brand new position this last year. Luckily, he was able to have that full camp this year and was able to do everything. Now, definitely some events, with Johnny Gaudreau passing and everything, like were unexpected, and he was throwing some curveballs, but he did very well with it. So, what I like about this is, so the players are. I mean, I guess maybe back in the day it wasn't as expected, but nowadays it's expected that they do some training in the off season. And generally, most of them do very well about that. Like very few of them come to camp to condition. They go to camp, in this fall, and then most of them are in good shape at that point. So that being said, the players, now the coach is going to be basically training in the off season too.
Yeah.
And he's going to be he's going to be learning with other coaches because I think McCarthy's there as well. So there's going to be other people there to bounce ideas off of. I mean, yeah, nobody's ever done learning. So what I'm hoping happens here is that he just learns from this and he gets even better as a coach. He's got two of his own players there, and I like that he's taking that opportunity and doing something extra with it. I think he also deserves the position too. I mean, he did very well this last year, his first year in at Blue Jackets.
Yes. I agree with everything you said there, Hefty
How do you
Duck.
feel
Be
about it?
interesting. Yeah, so I agree with everything you said there. Be interesting to see how it goes. And it's another learning opportunity and always good for your development and positive experiences because this is a playoff like atmosphere. You are trying to win this tournament. You are trying to get a medal, preferably gold medal, but hey, silver, bronze is good too. So that's good experience, and you can use those experiences, down the line for next season. And if you make the playoffs, you can use that experience as well. So that's cool.
Sure.
So
And it's
shout
kind of
out.
catch-22. I hope they do well because of Evison, Fantilli, and Johnson,
That's
but I hope
right.
they get silver behind the United States because go USA.
Yeah, that's fair. So shout out to you, Dean Evison. Next up, we have Kent Johnson and Adam Fantilli, who will be playing for Team Canada in the World Hockey Championship. So that's going to be great to see. Shout out to you, Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson, for being named to Team Canada, representing the Blue Jackets there. So that's cool. I like that. You know, it's kind of a small sample size, but towards the end of the season there, Adam Fantilli started playing with Kent Johnson, and it was magic. It was really good. It was fun to watch. They really played really good together. And, you know, Kent Johnson, the 2 assists on the goals against the Capitals that weekend were awesome. We played both of those goals on one of our more recent shows when we talked about the Blue Jackets beating the Capitals 7-0 and 4-1. The first goal was just basically, there was a tight window. Ken Johnson, he's right by the boards, and there's a tight window to squeeze the puck through. If he passes it wrong, it gets picked off by one of the two Washington players and probably goes the other way, but it's a good pass, able to squeeze it through. That little tight window, puck goes to Fantilli. He's wide open, shoots and scores. And then the other goal, which is, god damn, that was just awesome. Probably the best pass that Ken Johnson has had all season, which is he gets the puck. He's right in front of the net. And everyone, including me, is thinking, oh, you got to shoot that. You got to shoot that. You got to shoot that. And then he doesn't shoot that. It's like, oh, no, what are you doing? And he does this like no look backhand pass thing to Adam Fantilli, who's wide open, and shoots and scores. And it's just like, wow, what a pass, what a play. How did he do that? How did Kent Johnson do that? So they played really good, awesome chemistry. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the World Hockey Championship, if they can continue that chemistry and continue that positive momentum that they built on during the season.
I need to give you a quick heads up. It's storming really bad here now. So if I happen to freeze and just disappear, hopefully I can get back here and electricity goes out. Yeah. Just want to give you a heads up. Sorry. Yeah. So this tournament starts very soon. This is going to start Friday, May 9th, like 5 days from now. Yeah. And it feels like it took forever to get here, but all of a sudden it's May. And anyway, I'm excited to see Kent Johnson and Adam Fantilli. I'm feeling pretty stoked to get to watch them. This is going to be in Sweden, so the timing of games is going to be a little bit different. Some are going to be early in the day, which sucks, like early. But so it's going to start this Friday on May 9th. United States is going to be playing the away team playing against Denmark, and that is going to be at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. So don't forget to check that out. I think that you can watch a lot of those games for free, I believe. If not, I'm sure there's an easy way to watch them. But this is what I'm talking about then. Saturday, May 10th. So these games are going to be it's going to be noon. It's going to be 12:20 local time there. That's Canada versus Slovakia. So that's the Canadians' first game. That's going to be at 6:20 a.m. Eastern. So, good thing for highlights. I'm not watching that. Yeah. So those are the first games for U.S. and Canada. U.S. is going to be playing Friday afternoon, and Canada's going to be playing Saturday morning. So I'm excited. You excited?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes and what happens with Ken Johnson and Adam Fantilli.
Yeah. Speaking of playoff, did you know that tonight's game in Winnipeg is the first Game 7 that's played in Winnipeg?
I did not know that.
I just happened to scroll across. I thought it was a cool fact. Anyway, that's all.
All right. So on to the next thing, which is Dean Evison should have been a Jack Adams Award finalist. Jack Adams Award being the award for best coach in the NHL. However, though, he is not, which is really stupid, and I disagree with that, and it shouldn't be like that. At minimum, he should be there. Dean Evison should be a Jack Adams Award finalist. No questions asked. He should be there. I'm not even saying that he should win it. I think it'd be cool if he did. But at minimum, he should be there. He should be a finalist. And I'm not just saying this because I like the Blue Jackets and I'm biased. And I'm not just saying this because we're a Blue Jackets themed show. He legitimately should have been there. The Blue Jackets were not supposed to be this good. They were not supposed to be where they were right now. They were not supposed to have the season that they did. They were supposed to be like one of those teams that had like a top 5, top 6 pick. That's where they were supposed to be. You know, a little slight improvement, but you're still bad to the point to where you're still picking like top 5, top 6. That did not happen. The Blue Jackets played much better than expected. They were 88 points. No, 89 points. And missed the game missed the playoffs by 1 game. The Blue Jackets, as you know, were really good on offense, and Dean Evison had a big part in playing in that role. The Blue Jackets were good at scoring goals, 26.6% on the power play at home, set a record for most goals in Blue Jackets history, 267. The Blue Jackets were top 10 in scoring, number 8 in the NHL, one of the best 5-on-5 teams in the NHL. They were good at home. They won the Blue Jackets, 26 of 40 wins this season were at home. The Blue Jackets were good at shootouts, 5-1. Elvis Merzlikins, 5-0 in the shootout. And the Blue Jackets scored 6 goals 15 times. Dean Evison is a big reason for that. Also to note, the unfortunate reality is this. Going into this season, the Blue Jackets did not have Johnny Gaudreau because he unfortunately died because, an idiot drunk driver thought it was cool to drunk drive and unfortunately killed Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew Gaudreau. So that's another thing that was going against the Blue Jackets is, you don't have basically one of your best players anymore who is really good on offense. And just so much up and down and emotions of good, bad, and everything in between that the Blue Jackets had to deal with physically and mentally the entire season. And Dean Evison handled that outstanding. He helped guide the Blue Jackets through that in an awesome way. There was a positive energy and a positive focus on Johnny Gaudreau. We're doing this for him, and it's a total team effort. We're coming together as one to support Johnny Gaudreau and the Gaudreau family, and we're coming together as one to play as a team. We're going to play for each other. We're going to work our ass off. All that, Dean Evison plays a big role in that. Dean Evison is a big reason why the Blue Jackets are where they are. He should be in the conversation for Jack Adams finalist. He should be there. He's played a big role in why Adam Fantilli has took off the next step. We're going to talk about him today, about the player grades later on in the show. He's one of those guys that Adam Fantilli really, Dean Evison is one of those guys that he really helped Adam Fantilli step up. He did this for other guys too. So for Dean Evison to not be included as a finalist for the Jack Adams Award is ridiculously stupid. It's awful, and it does not make sense. So I've gone on a little bit of a heater here, so I'll stop talking for now. and we'll get Hefty Duck in here.
Yeah, were the Canadians not to have made the playoffs, 100% Everson would have been in there, I believe, over St. Louis. And not that Martin St. Louis did not do a great job with the Canadians and getting them to the playoffs. Here's what the article from ESPN says about them all. So it talks about Scott Arnell. It's the Jets' first time ever getting the President's Trophy. That deserves that nomination. Spencer Carberry, coach of the Capitals, doing what he did with that team this season, incredible shit. Absolutely deserves to be there too. St. Louis. So this is what it says for St. Louis. 49 years old, guided the Canadians back to the playoffs for the first time since 2021. Their 91 points were 15 more than the team record last season. Obviously, the Blue Jackets did not make it to the playoffs. So we can't factor that in at all in this. But if we're going to go by improved points from last season to this season, are you shitting me?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many points the Blue Jackets had last season? Like 66. You know how many points they had this year? 89. It's 23 points increase. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be curious as to whether team improved that much. I could have looked it up before the show. Am I going to look it up ever? Probably no. I don't give a shit that much. I just think that, I'm a little biased here. I gotta admit, I'm a little biased, but I really do think that Dean Evison, I'm sure he was considered for it, but I do think it came down to the playoff thing. That's it. So otherwise,
which
should be there.
which I kind of disagree with that, because I remember back during the 2019-2020 season when John Tortorella, he was one of the finalists back then for Jack Adams, in part because realistically looking back on it, that team probably shouldn't have been where they were, which is they were a team that was a good competitive team that made the playoffs, knocked out Toronto, and they had injuries and a whole bunch of other stuff just get in their way. And yet they just kept on plugging along and just fighting through it with the next man attitude. And I do believe that that's a team that only John Tortorella could have gotten into the playoffs and beat Toronto like he did.
Yeah.
And that whole you got to be and the whole the playoffs thing, well, that didn't matter because the Blue Jackets made the playoffs and Tortorella, in my opinion, should have won it, but he didn't win it that anyway. So my opinion, I'm just throwing that out there that I think that playoff thing is a little overblown. Whatever.
Yeah, and to be fair, in my opinion, who I would pick who were winning it, I mean, I don't know how I don't pick Spencer Carberry. Now, the Jets getting the President's, I mean, both of those two dudes, that's a hard pick for me personally. Yeah. Between those two guys who are nominated, but I do wish Everson was in the picture there a little bit. So, just real quick, just for anybody, I guess I could have started off with this too. Let me define a Jack Adams Award just for anyone who might not fully know what it is. So, the Jack Adams, this is from the Wikipedia page, by the way. The Jack Adams Award is awarded annually to the National Hockey League coach, adjudged to have contributed the most to his team's success. So it's basically Coach of the Year is what it is. So anyway, that is all for that, unless you have anything else you want to add to that.
No, I have nothing else to add to that. So on to the next thing. Here we have something from the Detroit media, which I think is very interesting because you see this, you see Detroit fans just being ridiculously cringe and acting stupid because, their favorite coping mechanism in regards to the Blue Jackets outdoor game is, it's a high stick this, high stick that, ba, 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 ba. However, though, here we have from the Detroit media in an article basically saying why it wasn't a high stick. And here we go. I'm going to read it. So, Dylan Larkin, I'm going to zoom in on this. So, Dylan Larkin, captain, player for the Detroit Red Wings. He asked the refs why it wasn't a high stick. And from what Dylan Larkin said, let's see here. Because they thought, basically, they thought he was embellishing it. So that's a tough one. They said Simon was falling down and going into the stick. So there you go. No high stick. Because they thought that, he was falling down, and they thought that Simon Evison, the guy who got high stick, was trying to embellish it and get a call. So, for all you Detroit people out there that are complaining, oh, high stick, high stick, high stick, high stick, this, high stick, that. No, it was not a high stick. You need to stop. Stop complaining. It was not a high stick. The refs thought he was trying to embellish it, to try and get a call. Also, they perseverate on this like that is the reason why you lost the game. You didn't. You lose that game because your defense is ass. 21 shots on goal. The Blue Jackets get 5. Also, one of those was an empty net goal. Oh, and your goalie, Cam Talbot, he stopped 16-20. That's not good. You cannot do that and expect to win. Also, another thing, Detroit's penalty kill all season long has been awful. That was one of the big storylines going into that game. Every team has strengths and weaknesses. And if there's a way to go after Detroit is exploit their bad penalty kill. And guess what happened? That's what the Blue Jackets did. They scored a goal on the power play, exploiting the Red Wings' bad power penalty kill. Another thing, you had 46 shots on goal. You could only get 3. 3 goals on 46 shots. That's not going to get it done. If you have 46 shots on goal, you should be scoring goals like crazy. But you didn't.
You blew it.
You blew it. And one last thing. Go in those 2 games that the Blue Jackets played against the Red Wings on February 28th and March 1st, the Blue Jackets outdoor game. There was a common theme in that game, which is this. The Red Wings had bad 5-on-5 play. Why does that matter? Because if you're playing the Blue Jackets this season, oh boy, if you suck at 5-on-5, you're done. You're not going to win. Because the Blue Jackets, as I showed in the previous slide, the Blue Jackets are one of the best teams at 5-on-5. Ridiculously good. One of the best teams in scoring goals, 5-on-5. So if you suck at 5-on-5 and you're playing the Blue Jackets, guess what? You're screwed. It's going to be a long night for you because the Blue Jackets will expose that and you're going to lose. So for the Detroit fans saying, high stick, high stick, high stick, we lost because of high stick. No, you didn't lose because of a high stick. Wasn't high stick. You lost because your defense let you down, your penalty kill let you down, and the Blue Jackets exposed your weak 5-on-5 play. That is why you lose, not because of a high stick that was a high stick.
Right. Hey, so can you zoom out for a second? I just want to explain something for the audio listeners here. I just find this hilarious and very ironic. This article about getting hit in the face with a stick, if you look to the right of the paragraph there, it's an advertisement. It's some bullshit scam looking thing, but it's got this guy in a suit like holding his eye with a rag. And I love the advertisements there right next to it's a stick to the face. It makes me laugh a little bit. So I thought that was funny. Also, Just add on to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can cry all they want, but there was 43 other times that they could have, been better. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Michigan.
that's not all. Because here we have Alex DeBrincat of the Detroit Red Wings basically saying, and I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see it, which is this. We'll zoom in on it one more time. Which is, quote, very frustrating. Tie up the game, and the next shift we give it up. It's a tough way to play like that. Even in the second period, we tie it up and they score in the power play, and we give up another one before the end of the period. It's hard to come back in this league. So, yes, here we have Alex DeBrincat basically saying, yeah, we should have done better, not blaming the high stick, saying, hey, we were tied up at 1 and we gave up 3, gave up 2 goals, and now we're down 3-1. And hey, we tied the game at 3, but oops, our defense was awful and we gave up a goal to make it 4-3, and then, eventually you give up another goal, 5-3. So here we have Alex DeBrincat basically saying we should have played better and not blaming a high stick. Here we have, where is it? Here we have the coach of the Red Wings, Todd McClellan, basically saying, quote, we played a hell of a game when you think about the type of the game we played. The response we got, we were aggressive, but in the end, we need to learn how to win those games and not lose them, and that's what we did. And also, let's see here. Isn't there I read another quote. No, maybe I. You know what? I'm not going to show it. But basically, also in that clip, in that article, Todd McClellan, the coach of the Red Wings, also says that, like Alex DeBrincat, basically, we should have played better and we should have not been in that spot that we were. So, to close things out on this, Detroit and Detroit fans, you lost not because of a high stick. That wasn't a high stick because the refs thought, Simon Evison was trying to get a call there, embellishment. You lost because, well, your defense is ass. Your goalie gave up 4 goals on 16 of 20 shots, and your defense gave up 5 goals. That's not going to help you win. And then you had 46 shots on goal. You could only get 3. Your awful penalty kill, again, let you down. Oh, and your bad 5-on-5 play is not a good thing to do when you're playing the Blue Jackets, who are really good at 5-on-5 and scoring 5-on-5. That's why you lost the game, not because of a high stick. That was not a high stick. So stop complaining about, a high stick, a high stick. No, there are other reasons why you lost the game. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway.
Love it.
Yes. So, next up, we are going to do some player report cards for 3 different Blue Jackets players. To start off, we're going to start off with Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli gets an A. Why does he get an A? Here's why. 31 goals, 23 assists for 54 points. He was a +4. He had 2 hat tricks. And basically from the month of January till the end of the season, he played really good. He played outstanding. He took it to a whole new level. He really stepped it up. When Sean Monahan goes down, and this is like a oh crap moment, like what are the Blue Jackets going to do? You don't have Sean Monahan anymore. And now you're kind of putting Adam Fantilli in a tough spot. It's like, well, I guess here's the number 1 spot. I hope you do well. And he stepped up and played awesome. And if you didn't know that Sean Monahan was hurt, you would just assume that, hey, Adam Fantilli's playing number 1 center for the Blue Jackets right now, and he's playing good. He's earned it. And he did earn it. But if you didn't know that Sean Monahan was hurt, you would just assume that, hey, Adam Fantilli's playing good and he's the number one center. That is just how good Adam Fantilli was. Just outstanding. He is a future star in the making. He really is. We've seen it in the first 2 seasons, but this season, he really took off. He really started to shine. You really started to see what Adam Fantilli could be. You really started to see what kind of potential Adam Fantilli has. You really started to see what kind of a guy, what kind of a player Adam Fantilli can be and could be in the future. So fun to watch, truly outstanding to see. And then when Sean Monahan comes back to take over that first line center spot, and Fantilli gets bumped down to the second line spot, and he's fine. He plays awesome. It's like nothing never happened. He's just fine. He plays good, and he just continues all of that positive momentum and energy that he built, that he had when he was playing the number one center spot. Also, the Blue Jackets were 22-1 when Adam Fantilli scored a goal this season. I'm going to say that again. The Blue Jackets were 22-1 when Adam Fantilli scored a goal this season. So other than that one time, it was basically a guaranteed win for the Blue Jackets when Adam Fantilli scored a goal. Just truly outstanding. Adam Fantilli played awesome. He really stepped it up. So fun to watch. Just an outstanding, bright future. So good. Great to see. And I'm excited to see what he does, how he builds on that, and what his future is and what he does for the Blue Jackets next. Adam Fantilli, you get an A.
Absolutely.
Happy Duck will get you in here.
The only possible thing that could have made this an A+ was simply just the team making it to the playoffs, and I don't want to dig at that at all because like it's damn close. Tried hard as they possibly could.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. I mean, this is my opinion. The one stat you did not mention here is one that the past few years has been hard for any player on the Blue Jackets to do, and that is play a full 82 game season. He was one of 4 players on the Blue Jackets who played 82 full games this whole season. It's unfortunate. It's not like they're trying to get injured or it's their fault. Sorry, I keep burping. Freaking coffee burps. Zach Werenski had 81. He only missed 1 game. Marchenko 79, Aston Reese 79. So it's not like the people are. It was just a lot better than it was the last few years as far as injuries go, because that was very. It's just very unfortunate. So love to see that, especially from a young player too. He's playing hard. He sticks up for his teammates. Definitely captain material. And I'm excited to see where the future takes this kid. He's only 20 years old.
Yeah.
And 31 goals at 20 years old. I'm ecstatic. There's very few things that's going to slow this guy down. And I definitely, at this point, I don't think the team's going to be one of them.
No.
Because I feel like that may be happening with another top star in the league right now, is that his team is kind of holding back a little bit from what he could be doing. I'm talking about Connor Bedard. He still is a huge high scorer, does amazing, but it's just good to see that Fantilli has this team building around him too, building behind him. So can't wait to see what he does in the Worlds. Hope he does great. He's going to get to play. I've seen today that Sidney Crosby is going to be playing for Canada as well now. And I believe this might be the first time they play together. I don't think Fantilli wasn't at the last Four Nations, right? It was just
no.
Zach Werenski.
Yeah, that's
right.
Zach Werenski.
Yeah. So that's going to be really cool. I mean, only good can come from that. Nothing bad could come from playing next to and with one of the hockey's greatest players ever. Get to see that experience, maybe just rubbing elbows with like the man himself, Sidney Crosby. So that'll be cool. I think that'll be great for both Adam and Kent. So
another thing to mention with Adam Fantilli is that we've talked about this on the show, but it's this. Adam Fantilli is only one of 2 players in Blue Jackets history to score at least 30 goals in his second year. Him and Rick Nash are the only players in Blue Jackets history to say that they have scored at least 30 goals in the season in their second NHL season. So again, that is amazing. That is outstanding. That is something special. If you can do something that only Rick Nash has done, that says something about you. That says you're special. You have a lot of potential and a lot of bright future, and it's just exciting to see how far he goes with it, how he builds on it, and what is he going to do for next season and beyond for the Blue Jackets. So excited to see and where he takes this for the Blue Jackets.
I foresee some more grade A's in his future.
Yes. Anyways, on to the next player. For the next report card, we have Zach Werenski. And Zach Werenski gets an A. Why does he get an A? Zach Werenski had 23 goals, 59 assists for 82 points. He was a plus 12. He set a new record for most goals by a defenseman in Blue Jackets history with 23. He just played really awesome all season long. He is a Norris Trophy finalist. He played at the Four Nations tournament. He played awesome there. Played awesome all season long for the Blue Jackets. He's always been a good player for the Blue Jackets, but this season he played really awesome. He really stepped it up even more. And just him and Dante Fabro were just outstanding and just a really good defensive pairing. It's just awesome. And now it's kind of like Adam Fantilli. It's like, man, you played so good this season. What's your next move? Like, what are you going to do now? What's your next move? What are you going to do now, Zach Werenski? How are you going to build on that? What's the next step for you? That's what I want to see, and just another interesting, awesome, bright future for Zach Werenski. And I'm excited to see what he does for the Blue Jackets next season and beyond, and how he builds on this just awesome season that he had with all that positive energy and momentum, just playing awesome that he had.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see like how do you do that? How do you try to get better from that? I think at this point he is at his peak, and I think if he can at least just be on par with that, I mean, I don't expect this out of him next season or the season after. I know he's capable of it. I didn't expect it out of him this season. You know what I mean? Like, but obviously he's capable of it, and I mean, that's insane. He's breaking records, setting records for franchise records. He's setting other records as just a skater, not even just a defenseman. So really excited to see what he does. I mean, this is an 81 game season for Werenski. We all knew he was capable of this. It's just sometimes he was getting hampered by injuries there for a while, and wasn't able to play maybe a full 81 game season for a minute. And 82 points in 81 games. Like, you can't. How do you go up from there, especially as a defenseman, man? Like, what? So, I guess like what he could do better. I guess there was one thing. So, the person with both. Now, granted, he had the most playing time on average of any player on the team, other than a goalie, duh. But like, he was on the ice the most of anyone, and still had a plus 12. But I do want to mention, if 49 takeaways and 120 giveaways, those were both the two top numbers of anyone on the team. Like I said, he had the most minutes. It's part of his plus 12 because he scored 23 goals a little bit, but at the same time, like, that's it. That's the only slight complaint I could have. That's like where he and he's capable of that. I don't. In my mind, I can't remember an exact time this last season where I was like, holy shit, I can't believe he just passed that to the other team and they went and scored that, you know, whereas I do kind of remember maybe 2 other defensemen doing that and me remembering those moments from this past season. So, you know, he doesn't take that many hits anymore either after his injury. I can't blame him for that one. But and that's not a stat that doesn't matter. Like when he has to, he has to. He can get physical when he has to be. So that's it. How else? You can't complain about his performance in any possible way for this last season. I mean, at times it felt like he was just carrying the team on his back. And that's, I knew he was great. I knew obviously he was an all-star. I didn't realize that he was, like, as a defenseman too, able to like carry the team that far and do what he did. So an A. I mean, I would almost say this was an A+ season from Werenski. You can't get any better. Honestly, like, even if they made the playoffs, like, how do you get better?
Right.
Anyway, that's all.
And the 82 points that Zach Werenski had, that is second in Blue Jackets history. Because for context, it used to be Artemi Panarin had the first spot with 87, 88 points, one of those two. And then the second spot was owned by Artemi Panarin with 82 points. So for Zach Werenski, he basically tied Artemi Panarin's second spot with the 82 points. So now the record book for most points in Blue Jackets history reads Artemi Panarin / Zach Werenski. And then, you know, other guys down the list, but that's how it reads now. So again, Zach Werenski, just outstanding, really stepped it up big time, played outstanding, so fun to watch, and you really took it to a whole new level, played awesome for the Blue Jackets, and now it's just interesting to see how this goes and where does he go from here? What's that next step for him? How does he build on that, all the positive success and momentum and positive energy that he had from this season? How does he build on that? And what does he do for the Blue Jackets next season? That's just going to be great to see. And I'm looking forward to it.
He's locked in until 27-28.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
And you know, sometimes you see that out of guys when they sign that big contract for those big years, they get like, they relax a little bit. They're like, oh, okay, I don't have to play quite as hard as I was going for that contract. No, you don't see that shit at all. Boom, he like did the opposite. So anyway, on to the next. On to the next one. The third and final player of today's show that we are going to review, which is this. Kirill Marchenko. Kirill Marchenko gets an A. Why does Kirill Marchenko get an A? I'll tell you why Kirill Marchenko gets an A. 31 goals, 43 assists, 74 points. He was a plus 29. He had a hat trick. One of the best players for the Blue Jackets all season long. And he played really good on a line with number 10, Dmitry Voronkov, and number 23, Sean Monahan. That was one of the best lines in hockey all season long, of Dmitry Voronkov, Sean Monahan, and Kirill Marchenko. Awesome line. It was getting attention from not just Blue Jackets fans and not just from the Columbus media, but also from all over the hockey world. Even people who don't pay attention to the Blue Jackets were just paying attention to what Kirill Marchenko and Sean Monahan and Dmitry Voronkov were doing as a line. They were that good. I saw tons and tons of stuff on Twitter from different hockey people who don't pay attention to the Blue Jackets, just saying so much positive things about the line that was Kirill Marchenko, Sean Monahan, and Dmitry Voronkov. Also, from an analytics standpoint, this was the best line all season long. No questions asked. There was no way around it. From an analytics standpoint, this was the best line offensively and defensively, because when this line was on the ice,
generally speaking, they were not getting scored on. They were the ones doing the scoring, the domination. They were just that good, so fun to watch. And a common thing that we've said on today's show with Adam Fantilli and Zach Wierenski, and I'm going to say it with Kirill Marchenko, which is this. He played so good, awesome season, outstanding, fun to watch, awesome player for the Blue Jackets. And now, where does he go from here? What is his next step? How does he build on that? How does he, what's that next step does he take? How does he build on what he's already done, the successful season that he had? Where does he go from here? And what's the next step for the Blue Jackets? It's so exciting to see an outstanding, good, bright future for Kirill Marchenko. So fun to watch. And now it's just going to be interesting to see how this goes and what Kirill Marchenko does next for the Blue Jackets this season and beyond. So shout out to you, Kirill Marchenko. You get an A because you played awesome for the Blue Jackets.
A for awesome. Yeah. So in thinking about where he's going in the future, let's take a little bit of look at where he came from these last few years too, and as to how he became such a menace this year. His first season in the NHL, he was 22 years old. So he came over from the KHL in Russia to play in the NHL in the United States. And, 22, it's a solid age to enter the NHL. Obviously, some players like Fantilli, they're going to enter in at 18, 19 years old. But Kirill Marchenko showed up and was as advertised. Now, his first season, he played 59 games and he had 25 points, 21 goals, and 4 assists. Now, I thought that was pretty spectacular at the time. But, remember the 22-23 season, he was a minus 23, and he didn't have much time on ice, or average time on ice. So that was for everybody. Plus minus, like I said, it's not the greatest indicator, but when you have a major swing like that, so he started at a minus 23. Last year he played 78 games, so he got to play a few more games, 23 goals, 2 more goals. He got a lot more assists. He got 19 for 42 points, plus minus of -5, and nothing else really changed too crazily across the board. His blocks, hits, takes, giveaways, all kind of are the same for his last 3 seasons. So, into his 3rd season in NHL, 24 years old, 79 games. So once again, he's playing a very full season. But this year, he went from 23 goals to 31. So he had 8 more goals. And because of the line that Kevin was just talking about, he had 43 assists. That's 24 more assists. That's more than double the assists he had last year, to get a total of 74 points. So just to reiterate this, 2023 entered the league with 25 points. Last season, 42 points. This season, 74 points. So if we're kind of judging it off of, so he basically gets double the amount of points minus 10. So I'm just saying, doubling 74 points, 148 minus 10 would be 138 points. So it's possible. That's totally sarcasm for anyone out there who may not be able to tell, but absolute phenomenal. So get this also. So he was a minus 23, then a -5. This season, he was a plus 29. And for a good chunk of the season, he had the best plus minus in all of the NHL. So that's pretty impressive. Just seeing that, we know his line was great on offense. Obviously, they were one of the highest scoring ones, but they also did not allow many goals against them, in part because they were so dominant. And so it's great to see. I can't wait to see him growing as well with, Voronkov and Fantilli and all of them too. We'll talk about Chinikov here in another episode too, because he's an interesting story here. Just a little future teaser. That's right. Yeah, like you said, where does he go from here? 30 goals, 40 assists. The only way you can get better from that is by doing stuff like Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and those kind of guys, or like that's insane to me. It's awesome being able to talk about the numbers of these kinds too. Like the last few seasons have been kind of rough with some of them. Obviously, 2022, 23 at a minus 23. So, grade A, another guy that now we're judging their grade for the season. If I was giving them a grade for improvement, that's an A plus. He got almost double the points, but if we're just going off this last season, that was an A. So, make the playoffs, A plus.
Right. Another thing I want to say about Kromarchenko is that he has proven to be a tough son of a bitch, just a tough SOB, a tough player, because in the game against Dallas, he's sitting on the bench waiting for his turn to play again for his next shift. And he gets whacked in the face with the puck. Not his fault. It happens. And, he doesn't play the rest of that game. And it turns out, he's got a broken jaw. And at that point, you're thinking, oh, crap. Like, he's going to probably be out for a bit. And what are the Blue Jackets going to do without Kromarchenko? And yet, he missed like 1 or 2 games, and then he came right back and just played awesome, even though he had like a little jaw protector thing connected to his helmet. And you could tell at times that he did not like wearing that, and it was very frustrating for him. And at times it made it harder for him to play, because when you have something like that on your face, it takes away some of your depth perception and what you can see. So that's harder to play, because a lot of the hockey is like, what can you see? And then if you can see everything, then that makes it easier to shoot the puck. It makes it easier to pass the puck. It makes it easier for you to receive the puck when someone is trying to pass the puck to you. It makes it easier. But when you have a little jaw protector thing, that cuts down some of your vision, and it's kind of hard to see. And yet, even after all those jaw shenanigans thing and having the jaw protector, and even though it's harder to see and it's harder to play with that, even after all of that, he still played awesome. He still stepped it up. And honestly, I really don't think it really it made a difference, you could tell, but I don't think it made that big of a difference, because he still played like it was nothing, and he still played really good, and he just really stepped it up. Even if he had a broken jaw with the broken jaw thing, he was just awesome. And then, hey, towards the end of the season, he doesn't have the jaw protector thing anymore, and he goes and he's still playing good. So it's just great to see. So shout out to you, Kromarchenko. You played awesome for the Blue Jackets. You really stepped it up, and excited to see what you can do for next season and beyond, because you have an awesome future for you and the Blue Jackets. So, like you said, you get an A, Kromarchenko, an A.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of forgot about that jaw thing too. It didn't slow him down at all, because in the past, he's been in the league 3 seasons. Last year he had 55 hits. This year he had 55 hits. And he had 39 blocks last year and 38 this year. So it did not change his perspective of he didn't get puck shy. It's kind of what I mean. Because like you get hit and really good, you break your freaking jaw, man. It sucks. Like I would be flinching every time. I know I would. It would scare me. Even if I got hit with a puck like in the side of the head, like the jaw, and it wouldn't break my jaw, it would still make me flinch. I mean, anyway.
All right. So on to the next thing that I would like to talk about, which is this. Pretty soon here, the Blue Jackets are going to find out where they're picking with their 2 first-round draft picks officially. So they know where one of them is, and that one is the first-round draft pick that they got from the Minnesota Wild. That one is going to be pick number 20. What they don't know is where they're, well, as of right now, they're going to be picking 13. However, though, because they did make the playoffs, they're in the draft lottery. It's a very low chance because they did much better than expected. However, though, they still have a chance. And as of right now, they're picking 13. And because they're in the draft lottery, that could change. That could go down. That could stay the same. That could go up. Highest they can go is pick number 3. They can't win the first pick, but highest they can go is pick number 3. But so they, as of right now, the Blue Jackets are picking 13 and 20. That could be different because by the time our next show is here next Sunday, we will have known where the Blue Jackets are going to pick with their 2 draft picks. So it's either going to, go down, it could stay the same, or it could go up. So just throwing that one out there pretty quick here. We're going to find out where the Blue Jackets are picking. 13, or could be lower than that, could be higher than that, and 20.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. I'm not quite as excited as past years, which is a good thing. But I mean, I'm still. It's funny because like last year at this point, we were like, that's mainly what we were talking about was the draft lottery and stuff like that. Not that it's not important, but it's just nice to have other things to talk about, like how good a player did, how good a team did. So looking forward to it. I am completely out of the loop right now as far as what prospects are looking like and all that kind of shit. So I'll have to do a little bit of research this next week. And yeah, hopefully it's a good one. When is draft lottery?
That's tomorrow, Monday.
So the actual lottery is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
Gotcha. When's this year's draft? It's usually in what, June?
June. It's out in LA.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
good deal.
All right, on to the next thing. We've done this many times. I like to show off different jersey concepts that people have for the Blue Jackets. So we have 2 jersey concepts to share, which is this. Here we have basically someone taking the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey and making some slight changes. Obviously, the biggest change is they're changing the logo from the Cannon logo to the Blue Jackets main logo. And then they're using just the regular shoulder patches as the shoulder patch. They kept the captain's patch of the state outline of Ohio the same. They changed the striping pattern from silver to red with white. They added a star to it. In the collar, it says "Glory, Glory, Hallelujah" to attribute to one of the Civil War songs that the Union Army used. So that's cool. So I like this. This is pretty cool here. White numbers outlined in red, and then the name is in white. So pretty cool jersey. I like this overall. Hefty Duck, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm pretty big fan of this. I like the way that they're using the stripes in the sleeves, and I like that they chose red to make them red. To go with like the big stripe around the waist there too. So overall, pretty good. I mean, there's nothing here I dislike.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's pretty good. Cool. All right, on to the next one. Basically, it's a white version of the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey. And again, you switch the Cannon logo for the main logo, and you use the Cannon shoulder patches as the shoulder patch. You change the color of the striping. So here on the white, instead of the silver, it's red with a little blue, and there's a little white right there. Silver star. A slight difference in the captain's patch of the state of Ohio. You switch that out. Different colors. The numbers are blue outlined in red, and then the name is in blue letters. So overall, pretty good. I like this. This is, oh, and again in the collar says glory, glory, hallelujah. Overall, this is pretty good, and I like this jersey concept that this artist has done for the Blue Jackets. Hefty Duck, your thoughts on this?
I like this a lot. I'd almost be afraid, like, it's not really like there's a ton, but I would almost make that part around the star that's blue white and put another blue stripe in there. And it's just simply because it's just a lot of dark. If they had dark gloves too, I think that would be kind of a big distraction from it. And if they have light gloves, I think that would be a weird contrast at that point in the uniform. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I like it, everything else except for that one weird little part of it is all.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. On to the next thing. Not playing this for copyright reasons. But if you're looking for something to watch on YouTube, you should check out the 21 Pilots performance that they did at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. I've been watching this a lot. It is just that good, that awesome. I really enjoyed it because it just brings back awesome, outstanding memories that I had when I was at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. Now, I have to be honest here. I did not see the 21 Pilots performance live in person, in part because, well, it was really cold there, and I was sitting on a bench there for 2 hours, and it's just like I gotta get up and I just gotta walk. I had to go to the concourse. I just had to walk. I had to get moving and just get out of that cold weather for a bit. So I did not see it. I heard it. It sounded cool. So then when I got home from my trip to Columbus, that's one of the first things that I watched on YouTube was the 21 Pilots performance at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. And it was really awesome. And in my opinion, you should watch this. So go to YouTube and check out the 21 Pilots performance that they did at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. It was awesome. And I've watched this like a lot.
Hell yeah.
So anything to say about this, Hefty Duck, or no?
Not really.
Okay.
It's really cool. I like it. I like that they're using the hometown guys as well. I don't listen to them much, but I thought that it was really cool that's who they had play there.
Right. Okay. On to the next thing. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't think we're going to get copyright on this. I saw this video and I just had to play it, which is this. Shout out to Pennsburg Hockey for taking this video showing what was it like when the Blue Jackets won the outdoor game. And it also features the Ohio State band playing the traditional song called Carmen, Ohio, that Ohio State plays when Ohio State wins. I just thought that was cool that the Ohio State band played Carmen, Ohio when the Blue Jackets won the outdoor game. So we're going to play this video right here. So here it is.
I think it's cool that they do the old school kind of handshake line. Oh yeah, this is random, but well, we're kind of not really talking about much here. Also, congrats to Sean Monahan. He's a finalist for the Bill Masterton Trophy. Have we talked about that ever?
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's pretty
Right on.
cool.
I just want to make sure I remember clearly.
So that was a cool video that I saw from the Pennsburg Hockey channel on YouTube. Shout out to the Pennsburg Hockey YouTube channel for that cool video that I saw showing what was it like when the Blue Jackets won the outdoor game. And I saw that video and it's really cool. And I've watched it multiple times because, like the 21 Pilots performance, it's just awesome and brings back so many just outstanding memories, so many good ones of me being at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. And it was just so fun just to be there, to see Blue Jackets history, to see the Blue Jackets win the outdoor game, to be there with 94,000 plus people there, a sea of blue at the shoe, truly outstanding. One of the greatest moments in my life, one of the greatest sporting events I've been to in my life, and one of the greatest moments in Blue Jackets history. A great video that captures that all, and the Ohio State band playing Carmen, Ohio, just like Ohio State does when they win, and they played Carmen, Ohio when the Blue Jackets won, and it was just great to see. Great video, so I had to share that. So
Oh yeah.
it's just great. So anything on that, Hefty Duck?
No, man, I think you said it all. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend, but it's still one of the coolest things that happened in the Blue Jackets history. With how well it went, I mean, obviously, a long time to get this first game, but how well, hopefully, that means maybe a second one could be in store eventually.
Right. I do think eventually the Blue Jackets are going to get picked again. I think that's going to be a little bit, though. It's going to be a little bit until that happens again. And I do think if they get picked again, they're going to be an away team before they get another home game.
Right. Yeah.
So
maybe something like in Michigan.
Yeah. I think if they get picked for an outdoor game, it's probably going to be something like they're playing at Pittsburgh or they're going to be playing at Detroit. Because the one thing is, and this is true, the whole Ohio-Michigan thing, when it comes to TV ratings and just ratings in general, it does well. Ohio State, Michigan does well. It's always one of the best rated games on TV and gets best ratings, one of the best ratings everywhere. They played into that for the Blue Jackets outdoor game, and it did well because that's a big reason why it had very good ratings. The second bet, good ratings and the best ratings for an outdoor game since 2019. I could see why the Blue Jackets would get picked again for something like that if they played the Red Wings again in Michigan. It could be at Michigan or at Detroit, playing on that whole Ohio State Michigan / Ohio Michigan theme. It just gets good ratings. So if the Blue Jackets get picked again for an outdoor game, it's probably going to be that. They're probably going to be an away team and then eventually get picked again for a home team. My dad has brought this up, which I agree with him on this point. Which I think is a good point, which is he said this. Eventually, you think that they are going to consider giving the Blue Jackets another outdoor home game, because when you get over 94,000 plus for an outdoor hockey game and you set a record for second most fans ever for an outdoor game, that is nothing to sneeze at, and that's pretty good, and that says something about you in a good way. So eventually they'll get there. But for now, I think the Blue Jackets, if they do get picked for another outdoor game, it's probably going to be them being the away team. So, anyways.
Yeah, I get that.
Next thing I'm sharing is Danny Smith did this cool Blue Jackets themed art for the Blue Jackets outdoor game. I just love this. This is just awesome. It says Stadium Series March 1st, 2025, Hockey at the Shoe. And in the background, you have the shoe. Script Ohio is on the scoreboard. Ohio State, Ohio Stadium. People, the crowd right there. We have a hockey game at the shoe. It says Columbus Blue Jackets versus Detroit Red Wings. And we have Brutus wearing a Blue Jackets jersey with some Buckeyes on him, and he's wearing some skates, a hockey stick, red pants, just like the Blue Jackets jersey, the blue socks. There's the puck, and he's playing a game of hockey with Stinger, who's also wearing Buckeyes, I think. But overall, I just love this. This is just outstanding art for the Blue Jackets outdoor game. I think this is cool. I love this. Hefty Duck, you are an artist, a tattoo guy. I want to get you in here and your thoughts on this Blue Jackets themed art for the Blue Jackets outdoor game.
I love it, dude. I love that she chose Brutus to be in there as well. That cracks my shit. Love it.
Now, as a artist, do you have anything else to say about this?
Oh, I mean, not particularly. Danny's got a good eye. I've seen a lot of their photography. Great photography. I think that she actually had worked with the Blue Jackets as well at one point. And so you can kind of see that in here. I don't want to I won't break it down in like huge artistic detail, but you can see she knows what she's doing as far as like the composition of the photo too. I think or the picture she drew. So I like seeing that.
So pretty good here. This is just outstanding Blue Jackets themed art for the Blue Jackets outdoor game. So that's cool. I had to share that. So I'm gonna share my stuff, and then you can share your stuff, and then we can get out of here, because I think we've done a pretty good show here, and we've said what needs to be said, and we can get ready to move on for the next show, which will be next Sunday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. So, anyways, you should totally like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. And like I always do, got to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Good guy, life of the party. Always fun to hang out with you. Always fun to see you at family get-togethers and birthday parties and holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more. Love talking hockey with you. Such a good guy to be with. Life of the party. You were a big Blackhawks guy, but you made the Blue Jackets as your second team, and you became a big Blue Jackets guy as well for me, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that, Doc. You know, I remember in January of 2020, I went on a big Ohio trip, and I went to Cincinnati, and I went to Columbus for some Blue Jackets games, and I went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton as well. But when I was in Columbus, I went to a couple Blue Jackets games. One of the giveaways for one of the games I went to was military night, and it was a blue camo hat with the Blue Jackets logo on it. And we got an extra one, and we gave it to you. And you wore that hat a lot. You loved that hat. You were doing your cook job at the time. You were cooking at a restaurant. And you always wore that hat, and you'd always tell me and others how people just loved that Blue Jackets hat. They say, "Hey, that's a cool hat. What's that?" And they say, "Oh, it's the Blue Jackets. It's a hockey team." Like, "Oh, that's cool." So I just love talking hockey with you. Unfortunately, you're not here anymore. I wish you were still here so I could talk hockey with you and hang out with you. And just get your thoughts on the Blackhawks and what you thought the Blackhawks season was and how did you think that went. And I could share my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets season went and so much more. So rest in peace to my awesome Uncle Doc. I wish you were still here. Wish I could talk hockey with you. And shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything.
Rest in peace, Uncle Doc.
All right, so 2 more things for me, and then you can say your things, and then we can get out of here. You should totally check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed group that supports the Blue Jackets that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff, like our marches that we do for the home opener every year, and we'll be doing it again for the Blue Jackets home opener next season. Here's just a video from different marches that Union Blue Soldiers has done over the years. So here we go. I am going to play that video. So here we go. So as you can see right there, this is over 2-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but as you can see, these are different videos from different marches that Union Blue Soldiers has done over the years. We've been featured on TV, in the Columbus Dispatch, 97.1 The Fan, at Blue Jackets games. If you've been to a Blue Jackets game within the last 5 years or so, you have seen the Union Blue Soldiers march on the scoreboard at the Blue Jackets games. And as you can see right here, we've had the Blue Jackets join us for some marches. People from the Blue Jackets marketing department have joined us. The Cannon crew and you know, the people who throw like the t-shirts into the crowd, they've joined us. And also the greatest, you know, green bug of all time, the lovable mascot Stinger. Stinger has joined us for 3 marches as well. As you can see in these videos, he's helped us lead the march with the CBJ chants and the Let's Go Jackets chants with his drum, starting the CBJ chants and the Let's Go Jackets chants. So fun to watch. So check out Union Blue Soldiers and check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. The next Union Blue Soldiers March will be October 2025 for the Blue Jackets home opener. So check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. And one last time, check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So check out Union Blue Soldiers. All right, then that's it for me. That's all I have to say. We'll get Hefty Duck in here. He'll say what he wants to say, and then we'll get out of here.
Hell yeah. Thank you all for being here. And once again, just like and follow, subscribe wherever you're watching and liking from. Sorry, I guess I had a hair in my mouth there. Weird. Yeah, I don't have really much more to add tonight. You can find me on X at Lance_Schrock, I believe. You can find me on Instagram at lance.schrock.tattoos. Check out some of my artwork. I like doing a bunch of stuff. Next week, I get to do a Stinger themed tattoo, so I'm really excited for that. Can't wait to show it off to everybody. And that's about it for me. So we'll be here same time, same day next week, May 11th, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if anything happens to change from that, then we'll let you all know. We'll be talking some more player grades, some season grades for that. Anything that's between now and then, we'll be talking about the draft lottery, and we'll be talking a little bit about prospects probably, and maybe some other stuff. So thanks again for being here, everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye.